Let's check in. Good friend, Matt Underwood, TV play-by-play voice of the Cleveland Guardians on Cleveland Guardians TV. Kind enough to join us here on this Thursday afternoon. Matty, thanks for coming on, bud. How are you this afternoon?
I'm good, Sam. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Tell you what, we've been riding a roller coaster, haven't we?
Well, I mean, if you think about this, a month ago, if we'd have talked, we'd have been probably in, down, drowning our sorrows in beers
Right.
and wondering about, next year already. And then they turn around and win 22 out of 30. It's the beauty of the game is its unpredictable nature. And, we have watched it come full circle. And look, with 43 games to go, they put themselves in a position where they've got a shot to make a run at it. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see, how they fare coming down the stretch with, really only a handful of games left in the division, but they're all going to be big ones.
Oh, they're going to be monsters. We'll touch on that here in a minute. But, as far as the sport of baseball is concerned, two things that I think we all kind of learned. Number one, I remembered, I think Tom Hamilton referring to a conversation he had with the late, great Herb Score. Herb told him, when you come to the ballpark, you never, ever know what you're going to see. And the second one is, which was one we've heard for decades, baseball is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And because of that, we ride those waves for almost 6 months. And here we are. And if I said, Matt, how are they doing it? What would you say?
Well, I think how they're doing it is exactly what you just talked about. As fans, we ride that roller coaster up and down with each day through the 10-game losing streaks and then the ensuing hot spell. But I think from the manager to the players, the last guy on the bench, they don't ride that roller coaster. They preach consistent habits day in, day out. If you practice the same way, if you play the same way, and you do it the right way, and you do it every single day, trust the process, believe in the work that you're putting in, and the results will come. They won't be there every single day because no one in the history of the game has gone 162-0. So you're going to lose ball games. You're going to have offers. You're going to have games where you don't pitch well. But I think to a man, they have bought in. They have believed that the work will pay off. And I think the proof's in the pudding because, look, for the longest time, it was Quan and Jose or bust for the offense.
Yep.
And during this 30-game stretch where they've played really good baseball, it hasn't just been Jose and Quan. It's been Kyle Manzardo. It's been Gabby Arias at times. It's been Brian Rocchio since he's come back. It's been Daniel Schneemann. Even the rookie C.J. Kafis has come up and had some big hits. So they're getting more contributions from a lot of people, but the root of it is that they still believe in each other, and they believe that if they put in the work, the results will be there in the end.
We referenced that 10-game losing streak, and I will admit, I will tell it now. I was ready to throw dirt on them after that. I was. But somehow, and I don't know how Voter does it, but he gets them to believe, he gets them in that mind frame of one at a time, not too high, not too low, which when you get to be a professional and you've been playing for 5, 10, 12 years, like, oh, yeah. But you know what? If you don't somehow buy a little bit into that philosophy, you're probably not going to go where you need to go. So it's a two-way street. Skipper is able to get that message across, and then the fellows got to buy in. And I think we're seeing both.
Yeah, I think, look, to your point, yes, it's easier for the younger players to buy in than say, a jaded veteran. But the inverse of that is that the jaded veteran wouldn't be here.
Right.
Because the jaded veteran's not going to last in this game if that's his attitude. You always have exceptions. There's always going to be a few malcontents that put up enough numbers to stick around a long time. But, I think given the culture that this organization has built over the last 10 years plus, those guys, we haven't seen many of them, if at all, right? And the few bad apples that I've seen roll through here, they haven't lasted very long because they're such outliers, they don't fit the puzzle. And so I think the organization's done a very good job of identifying the right kinds of people to plug in. And then, the clubhouse, as you know, Sam, the clubhouse runs itself. It's primarily an alpha male world, and the best players run the clubhouse, And if you don't run everything out hard like Jose does, then you won't be here long because he's the leader. And I think everybody quickly gets in line when they watch the way Jose plays day in and day out.
Play-by-play voice of the Cleveland Guardians, Matt Underwood, our guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Guards and Fish tonight, 6:40. Check them out tonight. Matt and the boys will have the call for you on Cleveland Guardians TV. So we referenced they won 22-30. And before last night, Matty, the last 10, the batting average was 235, but the earned run average was 2.87. And I look at those numbers and I think, the last 10, I think we went 8-2. How important are the intangibles for this team again this year?
Well, I think, too, when you're playing well, and these things go in cycles, but when you're playing well, the batting average might not be what jumps out at you, but what's the number with runners in scoring position? Are you getting clutch hits? So are you making the most of your hits? And I think if you probably dig deeper into it, that's what they were doing. Or you have a lot of low-scoring games where they just outpitched people. And that was really impressive to see because the rotation, I think, really did a great job of doing exactly what they're asked to do. Keep me in the game, give me a chance to win. And when they've been doing that consistently, they've gone 6 innings, limit the opposition to 2-3 runs. And then the bullpen over the last month really has been lights out. I mean, you figure when Clase got banished to Siberia, you figure, well, that's going to be a real problem. That's a giant hole, a gaping hole in the bullpen. And yet they pitched better without him, which is that's a head scratcher.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't figure that would be the case, but it's a real testament to those guys that they have literally stepped up their game because they've had to. Cade Smith's been awesome. Hunter Gaddis. I think Eric Stabrowski's done a really nice job. Last night, notwithstanding, Colby Allard, Matt Festa, Jacob Junis, they've all pitched in and done their part, and that's been a big reason why they've been able to maintain that success over a 30-game stretch.
You play 162, and I don't know how they break it up, different managers, different organizations. I always thought, well, you go 4 quadrants of 40. That's 4 quarters of your season right there. And how has the Guardians, how do you kind of shift your thinking or your approach? Or maybe they don't, I don't know. But you go from the 10-game losing streak to, okay, we're fighting, we got a shot. All right, forget the division. We're gonna zone in on the wild card. Oh, well, we're 5 games out behind Detroit, but the wild card's still there, right on the corner. How do you maneuver through that? What's the mindset?
This is going to be the most boring answer I give, but I think the only thing they can plausibly do and keep their sanity is to focus on themselves and today.
Yep.
If you start looking up at the scoreboard in the middle of the game, what are the Yankees doing? What are the Tigers doing? Are the Twins beating somebody for us? Are we getting help from somebody else? You'll drive yourself bananas. So, and I think the players, historically, every player on every team, this game moves too fast to be paying attention to anything other than what's going on right in front of you. So I think they'll go out every night with the same approach. They'll play their game. They'll shake hands if they win at the end. They'll go in the clubhouse, and maybe the first thing they'll do is get on their phones and check the scores and see what the other teams did. But first and foremost, when you take the field, you better be worried about what's right in front of you because, it's cliche, and yes, it's been said a million times, but we saw it last night. This is the big leagues.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it's the Miami Marlins. I don't care if it's the Colorado Rockies or the White Sox of a year ago. If you think you can just show up and throw your glove out there and win, you're gonna get embarrassed.
Well, and that kind of happened last night. But the best thing about baseball, you get up the next day and you're right back there again. Mm-hmm. 6:40 tonight. Tanner Bybee, Matty, this might be a tough question to maneuver through. I don't know, but 8-9 and a 4.6 ERA. He's got the stuff. He just hasn't been able to rein it in. What have you seen from Tanner, let's say the last 5 or 6 starts?
Oh, I think for me, the biggest thing is he's getting to 0-1-0-2 with the best of them. But when he gets to 0-1-0-2, it's almost like something in his brain switches. And instead of just staying aggressive, he's going to nibbling a lot. And he's let hitters back in counts. And then maybe he has to come on the plate. And now he's let the hitter get a little more confidence back. And so they're getting their hacks. They're having success against him, and it's been thoroughly frustrating for him. So I think for me, and this is oversimplifying it, but for me, he's just got to stay aggressive because he's got great stuff. He can get ahead of hitters, It's just a matter of continuing to trust it. And hey, if you get hit, you get hit. That's the oldest saying in the book for pitchers. If they hit me out of the park, great, but don't allow them back in the count because you work so hard to get the advantage count so that you can put people away. I think for Tanner, it's just a matter of staying aggressive and not trying to be perfect. Don't try to throw the perfect pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Just throw that really good competitive pitch and let the chips fall where they may.
I don't know if you get a chance, or how much of a chance you get to talk to the pitchers, whether it's a reliever, end of the bullpen guy is starting. I've seen a ton of videos the last several months about how many officially missed pitches there have been by the home plate umpire. And you probably know where I'm going here. What has the reaction of our guys been? How are they handling the fact that on any given night, a ball is a strike tonight, it's going to be a ball tomorrow, it'll switch the next night, the zones are all over the place? How do they maneuver through that?
I think they handle it better than we do as fans. I think because they're out there and they've done it for so long, they understand missed calls are part of the game. They truly are. You're going to get some calls that probably you didn't deserve to get because, again, missed calls are part of the game. I think where guys get frustrated, hitters and pitchers alike, it's those 2-strike calls. When you feel like as a hitter, he took the bat out of my hands because that 2-strike pitch wasn't a strike, but he called it a strike. Or as a pitcher, you make a really good 2-strike pitch and it looks like it's got the plate and it doesn't get called. You're thinking you're out of the inning. And now you've got to readjust, and boom, you give up a hit on the next pitch or a home run on the next pitch, and now you're just steaming mad. So those are the ones that leave marks, mental scars. But I think the rest of it, they kind of take it with a grain of salt and move on.
I watched the highlights of a game last night, and it might have been the Astros Red Sox. It might have been the Dodgers Angels, but C.B. Buckner was behind the plate, and they did the tally. He'd missed 11 pitches in the first inning, Matt.
First inning, yeah.
11.
I saw that.
How does that happen?
I don't know. And I will now listen. I will say this, Sam, and I'm not trying to be the umpire's defender. Lord knows they don't need me.
Sure.
But the box on TV is not gospel. That is not the strike zone that they are judged on, and it's not the computerized strike zone that's used to grade performances. And in fact, I've been an advocate for years saying, why don't we get rid of it? Because we're just
Me too.
To them, to the fans, everybody's mad if the ball's not right inside that stupid little box, which doesn't exist. It's not out there in the real world. So right. I think it does more harm than good for us on TV, but that's neither here nor there. I think that, a lot of times, as in the years past, think back, Joe or Sam, when we were kids and they didn't have the box on TV, we still watched.
Yep.
And we still yelled at umpires because we go off of what do our eyes tell us? Does that ball look high to you? Did it look low to you? Did it look outside? Did it look inside? And the hitters will tell you, and the catchers and pitchers will tell you what they thought in real time. So we don't need the stupid box.
Yep.
I think those guys will let you know if they think it's a good zone or a bad zone. And whether or not it was as bad as what it appeared to be last night, I don't know. I didn't look at it closely. I did read it. But I think there are nights when umpires have bad nights too.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
They're missing calls left and right. You're like, man. But hey, I guess it can happen to them just as well as just like it happens to you and I.
I know. I'm all for it. Get rid of that damn box. I can't stand it. All right, let's end on a good note here. It's a 3-question Thursday quiz. We'll get you in and out of the classroom real quick. You all ready?
All right.
All right. This is football related. Question number 1. Most exciting for you, NFL, college, or high school football?
High school.
High school. All right. Question number 2. Best way for Matt Underwood to unwind after a tough work week?
A beautiful bottle of wine.
All right.
Preferably an Italian
wine.
Let's go with a Brunello Montalcino. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
And question number 3, this might be a little tough. What is your all-time favorite song?
Oh my gosh, too many to choose from, but I'll go Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, Billy Joel.
Billy Joel. All right, my man. I always appreciate the time. Have a great call tonight. Let's have a good weekend up at the ballpark.
All right, Sammy. Be good.
Thanks, Matty. There you go. Matt Underwood, play-by-play voice of the Cleveland Guardians on Cleveland Guardians TV.